Hi, I'm Beth Gantz. I'm one of the business advisors at the Small Business Development Center at Lorain County Community College, and I'm joined today with Rick Slark. Rick is a consultant with Slark Consulting Group and helps small businesses, grow and become more successful. And you do a lot of other things too. And it's always a pleasure to chat with you, Rick. And so thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I always look forward to it for sure.
And as maybe you've listened to other chats we've done, but as you know, Rick and I are always chatting about something. And so lately we've been chatting about business strategy and what it is. And, strategy comes, like when you hear the word strategy, it can be confusing. It's out there a lot. It's like, what does that even mean for my business? So I wanted to chat with you more about that today and, why you need one for your business. So maybe we can just get started with, what is a business strategy?
Yeah, I think that's really good because like you said, everybody's talking about it. If you go to Amazon and you look at strategy, there's book after book after book by everyone about it. But how, for me, it's how do we get to get it functioning in the small business so that the business owners can really digest it and then put it into action, because that's where it really happens. A lot of people are confused about strategy and they have a lot of myths about strategy. And one of the biggest myths that people have about strategy, or if you would say, hey, what's your strategy for your business? They'd go, well, we're going to be the best. That's our strategy, is to be the best. And being the best is not a strategy, right? It's a good thing to have. It's a good desire or goal to have, but it's not a strategy. And the reason really it's not is because who defines what the best is? There really is no the best. So, the best vehicle for a family or for a person is really subjective. It's totally different. If you have 6 kids, a van is like the best, right? If you're an older guy like me, then you want a sports car or something that's fast, right? So I mean, there is no best, and trying to be that way is really not a great goal. So we've probably aggravated a few people by just saying that part, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So they're probably, the other myth that I say is, let's say somebody says that they want to move their business or begin selling overseas. So they want to start doing that. Okay, well, that's a good goal, or that's a good idea, but it's not a strategy, right? And the other one would be, you have a mission, and my mission is to bring education to the world, right? Okay, that's not a strategy. It's good to have. It's great. You need a mission, you need a vision, but those aren't strategies. So strategy is basically this, and I'll cover it a little more later. It's a series of decisions that your business makes. You as the owner, your board, whoever are decision makers inside of your company. It is a series of planned decisions you make to be different. And that's really what strategy is in a nutshell. And I'll talk more about that a little bit.
I absolutely love how simple you just made that. And that was very powerful as well. Like I'm going to use that actually. So thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say that you said that, but no, it really is. That's what it is. And so, but they can be confused, as you said, with people, a goal. They get confused that is my strategy. No, it's not. It's a goal or a mission or something like that. So yes, so hopefully we can help, and you can help, make it easier to understand. And you just started doing that. So thank you.
Yeah.
So sure. Why, as a small business owner, do I need a business strategy?
Yeah, I love that question. And again, where the impetus of this whole thing came from for me was I started looking at the reasons startup numbers are so poor and why they fail so often, right? Mm-hmm. And part of that was because they don't get this part right. Mm-hmm. And so why do we need a strategy in the first place is because there's only 2 ways you win in business. There's only two. And the one is operational effectiveness. And the second is strategic positioning. And so I want to explain that just a little bit. So operational effectiveness. Think of that in terms as best practices for your industry. So don't think of, so every business has they're part of an industry, right? And in that industry, there are a set of rules that the game is played by for your industry. And it would be having up-to-date software. It would be just having the equipment that's the newest or at least the best equipment. To be operationally effective, you do all of the things you need to do to play the game. And I would say most owners should spend probably 80 to 90% of their time making sure their business has best practices, that they are functioning at a high degree for the standards of their industry. You cannot win. There's no sense of having a strategy if you're not going to be operationally effective, right? But the statistics show without a doubt that a company does not win or does not succeed in a high degree for a long period of time by only being operationally effective. And the reason that is because any owner that has their sense about them is trying to do the same thing. And so you may get ahead a little bit, right? You may buy this machine, but pretty soon everybody's going to catch up to that. Or there's always going to be people ahead of you. So you really can't win in that operational effectiveness. And the other reason is this. If you're saying the exact same thing that everybody else in your industry is saying, and your products are the same or your services are the same, you're competing on price alone at that point. Because we're all even, basically. Our product's the same, our marketing is the same, we look the same, we talk the same. The only thing the customer can do is go, well, who can I get this from cheaper? Mm-hmm. And it's a race to the bottom in that way. So the operational effectiveness is one reason part. The other part that you need one is to win at the positioning of your business. Being different. And that's where you win. That's why you need a strategic plan, a strategic positioning, so that you don't just compete in operational effectiveness, but that you find a way to be unique or different and thereby get a higher price for your product.
Wow. All right. We talk a lot about to our clients about, how are you different? But I don't think we talk about it for a strategic plan, right? I mean, we may touch on that bits and pieces, or people don't think about it that way. Or they have a hard time identifying how they are different. But you need to identify that so you can put so you can build the strategy, right? Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
So I have a client that is doing very, very well in the industry that she's playing in. And we did this the other day with her. We took the board and we said, let's look at your industry right now. And then we looked and we plotted her competitors on this whiteboard. And we said, where are they playing? Where are their strengths? Where are their weaknesses? Where are they good? And all of a sudden she said to me, there's no women in this industry, but nobody's reaching out to them. But there is a whole group of women in the industry, but nobody's positioned to. Mm-hmm. So by that positioning, a whole new market opened to her that she is so excited about right now that could literally change her life. And it was only by looking at this positioning and where people are playing and how can we be different. And literally, that's where you win.
Yeah. Well, and it goes, it just reiterates that you need to understand your customer, but you have to also understand your competition. So
for sure.
It's so important. So what makes a good business strategy?
Yeah, so we can end with this. if you're a business owner and you're out there and you're going, okay, I kind of understand that I need to be operationally effective. I need to understand where my competition is in the industry so that I can play. How do I create it, or what are the characteristics of something so that I know I've got a good strategy? And I've got a few of those here, and I'm going to just kind of look them over here for you and just kind of talk about. I've got 5. Now, remember, these are a series of decisions you're making as you sit there with your group and your leaders. You're going to make a series of decisions, and that's what this is about right here. So the first one is you make the decision to be different. You make the decision you're not playing where everybody else plays. You're going to look and understand your industry, and you're going to choose to be different. That's the first thing that it starts right there, the very first thing, for sure. What customers are we going to choose? What needs of the customer are we going to meet? You're not going to meet every need of that customer, perhaps. You're making a choice as to your customers, right? Where will we play on the price? Are we going to be most expensive? Are we going to be medium? We're going to be low price. Where are we going to play in that? That's a strategy, part of this strategy, choosing to be different. The other one would be understanding the industry, our competitors, and I just talked about that just a moment ago. So in this, we are choosing to be different. We're going to serve our customers. We're going to serve specific needs of our customers. So that's number one, that we decide to do that. The second thing is that we're going to create a value chain throughout our organization. And that value chain that we have will help us in our positioning, and it will help us to move forward in a real strategic way. So we have to have the value chain that aligns our positioning. So think of IKEA, for instance. So IKEA we all know IKEA, right? So they have made a value chain based upon what they want, how they wanted to be different, right? And one decision they made was like in delivery. They chose not to buy a bunch of trucks and deliver furniture to you, right? They also made a decision that they weren't going to have great customer service, right? There's nobody in that store that is coming to you and go, can we help you choose fabric and this and that? No, because you can't choose fabric, right? They made decisions all along their value chain that they would do things a certain way. And why? Because they wanted to produce an inexpensive product that was still quality and still high design. And so they've chosen to make these decisions all along the path through their value chain. Really important to get that.
That could be a whole other conversation, value chain.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But you just know it's a series of decisions that you're making. The third thing, and I think a lot of businesses have a hard time with this. When you determine that this is how you're going to, you make these decisions, that this is how we're going to function, this is who we're going to reach, this is how we're going to be different, you also make a choice that you are not going to do a lot of things.
That was a huge statement, because I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's so important for businesses to hear, because I think what happens is you make these decisions, but then you have maybe some voices in your head, but or other, telling you should have done it differently, or you question your decisions. But yes, I know that I've done that for my business, and it's hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
But you are making, and this is the really important thing, you are making trade-offs, and that's the part. You're making trade-offs. So let's say, for instance, and here's the problem with that, and this is the problem I have about reviews, and you need to take sure and make customers happy and all of that. I don't really believe that. in this sense. So let's say a couple that is fine, they're in their mid-60s and they like to have their furniture delivered.
Right.
They go to IKEA and they fill out a comment card after they can't find anybody to talk to them. And they go, this place was awful, right?
Right.
And then you read this comment, you go, oh my gosh, we need to call them and be nice to them and give them something or whatever. No, you don't. They weren't your customer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Right.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. So the important thing is that we talk about customer service and all of that, but you have to understand that if I make this choice to be different, and I make this series of choices, I am excluding people.
That's right.
And that's just the way it is.
Right.
And you have to stick to that. It's absolutely the only way to win.
Right. It's okay. And you are actually, if you refer a customer to someone else, you've made them happy because you're helping them to not have a negative experience. And it's not taking time away from your business to try to help the customer when really it's not, you're not going to make any money. It's going to be frustrating. The customer is going to be frustrated. So yeah. By making that choice, you're just simply saying, this is not my customer. Yeah.
And you have to be really good at that. This is not my customer. And I'm not mad about that. It's just the way we chosen to make and structure our business, right? I'm sure IKEA gets bad comments constantly, right? From people that aren't their customer. Right. So anyway, enough of that part. So the fourth thing then is fit. And this is what we call fit. In other words, everything is aligned. And I kind of mentioned this before. We've chosen that we want to be different in this way. We want to serve this customer. We then go through and we make decisions on how we deliver the product, how we're going to custom the pricing, the customer service. All of these things we make decisions on in alignment with that goal. This is what we're going to do. And that's harder than you think, but you do that. And that's what we call fit. Everything fits together. It's aligned. Right. So this is where we're going. This is how we're going to be different. We make these decisions. You have this really fit thing. And then the final thing that I want to say, and again, this goes a little bit, I've kind of changed my mind a little bit about this. It's coming through the pandemic, but you need to have continuity. So when you decide that this is going to be your value proposition, this is how we're going to show up differently. These are the decisions we have made. You need to stick to that for a period of time. You don't want to be changing that. And I see that a lot where, businesses will make this, okay, we're going to serve this customer. And then a couple months later, it doesn't happen. And so we're playing with it. And this is the word agile came in during the pandemic. We have to be agile. We have to change. We have to move around. Well, that is true in some tactics and things like that, but you cannot change the vision or the value prop. You can't change that. You have to this continuity, because that's how you build a brand.
That's right.
And if you're always changing, then nobody knows what your brand is.
Right.
And so that'd be the final part of that one.
Right. No, I love that. Yeah, because when we talked about being agile or pivoting or something, it was more like you're not, selling online yet, do that, right? You haven't changed your value proposition. You were just adding a way for customers to reach you when they couldn't walk in your store, things like that. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So one more quick question. How often, and maybe this is a whole nother conversation, should you revisit your business strategy? Like, you implement, you work on one. I think it's kind of ongoing, right? Especially when you're adding new products or services, things, your customer does change over time. Some people age out of what you're doing, right? They age in. Like, how often are you looking at your business strategy?
Yeah, a lot of companies do that every fall, right? Okay. They do their strategic planning. A lot of nonprofits do that, where they're looking at we used to do the SWOT analysis where you would look at your strengths, your weaknesses. You would look at the opportunities that have changed in the community you serve or the industry. You look at the threats, have new competitors come in. Is there a new product on the market that's going to substitute for your product? Those kind of things. So I think, in the fall, as you're preparing for the new year, that's a great time. It's just kind of organic, but you should certainly be doing it at least annually.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a great talk, and I know we could talk even longer about it, and maybe we'll do another chat about it. But if anyone is interested in getting help with their business strategy, please reach out to the SBDC. Our coaches can help you through that and understand what it means for your business. So, Rick, thank you so much again for chatting.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Always good to see you.
I look forward to chatting again soon.
All right. Talk to you.
Thanks. Bye.